Hey guys, it's Jeff, and today we are going to take a look at what we should expect in the next version of iOS, which should be iOS 11.2.7, given all of the issues we've found in the very rushed iOS 11.2.6. Let's take a look. So if you have iOS 11.2.6 installed onto your device, you might be experiencing some major issues. Our personal issues are found on the iPhone and iPad Pro, and I'm sure the issues don't stop just with those two devices. First, we'll start off with the iPad Pro, and some of the issues that we experienced on this device were actually quite awful. There are several instances where we experienced very obvious glitches, a lot of weird bugs surrounding the Settings app, and overall just a really poor performance value across the entire OS. Along with those issues, we also experienced a very good amount of hard resets that were not initiated by our control, and a lot of these freezes occurred when opening up or closing apps. It's needless to say that we've sort of moved on from iOS 11.2.6 and are currently not running that version on our devices, but there were nothing but issues on that version of iOS, and we really just wanted to move on from those issues. For the iPhone, there were very similar issues and more. So during phone calls, the phone would just restart, the iMessaging was awful due to messages not loading properly, and probably the most annoying thing that happened out of all of our devices was that we were signed out of all user accounts, which meant that we had to sign back into everything. Since I personally use a lot of email accounts and social accounts, this took a really long time, and sometimes it would take signing in twice to get truly signed in due to some bugs surrounding that process. So on both the iPhone and iPad, we just found a lot of really nasty bugs, and the performance on both devices significantly declined. While we were sort of unable to test the devices long term due to those issues, we have found many users complaining of pretty poor battery life as well. So all in all, if you haven't already installed iOS 11.2.6, we would recommend holding off on that version, despite the very obvious security concerns, and waiting for a less buggy iOS 11.2.7 or even a rushed version of iOS 11.3. So what are we going to see in iOS 11.2.7? Well, that's really easy to answer, and that's a less buggy user experience. Don't expect to see new features or major changes because all of those will come in iOS 11.3, which is currently in beta. Signing out of user accounts and disrupting iCloud processes definitely is not supposed to occur on updates on iOS, and Apple will definitely want to correct this issue. Battery life is always a touchy subject when it comes to iDevices, so obviously Apple will want to improve the battery life in their next version, as all of their progress was sort of taken away with the iOS 11.2.6 update. Along with those changes, we should be seeing a more stable build, meaning that we shouldn't be seeing so many system crashes with our iDevices. These crashes not only take away from the user experience, they also indicate that there is something seriously wrong with certain background processes within the OS. So guys, that's a brief rundown of what iOS 11.2.7 should be fixing on our iDevices, and hopefully we'll see that update later this week or maybe even early next week. This update is definitely something that needs to be done quickly, and Apple should not be rushing iOS 11.3 just to cover the issues found in iOS 11.2.6. In my personal opinion, iOS 11.3 still isn't ready for an official release, so stay tuned as we hopefully see more beta updates to that version and more development around the new features that they have introduced. Anyways guys, that's all the time for today, but if you want to stay up to date with everything surrounding iOS, make sure to get subscribed and hit that bell button to get updates as soon as we release content. So thank you all for watching, stay tuned, and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace!